Well, guys, I may not have a whole lot more videos to do. I've pretty much been making videos, I'd say ultimately about 4 years. One of the first videos I ever made when it comes to Red Pill or MGTOW, I think was like 2000, I want to say 2013. That might be wrong though. Might be around 2015 or 16. But anyway, so I've been doing this for at least, I'd say 4 or 5 years. Not consistently. This last year I put out more videos by far than I ever did before. I think it was around 2018, 19 was when I really started to pick it up. So yeah, about a year ago, I really started pumping out these videos. And I think I've exhausted most of, what I would talk about as far as red pill, society, women. Pretty much touched on everything that I know, pretty much touched on everything that I've experienced, pretty much touched on everything that I feel is important. There's a couple other things I will talk about, and I'll probably make a video every once in a while. When some new bullshit pops up or whatever. But really, I just, kind of wanted to talk about where I think the world is going. Where's the world going? What direction is the world going, from a red pill perspective? So I really kind of want to focus on other things. I'm kind of tired of, the whole red pill shit. And I mean, not that I'm tired of the red pill itself. I'm tired of focusing on, or I don't even say focusing on, I'm tired of experiencing it. I'm sick of it. Like, yeah, man, there's a lot of fucked up shit out there. Women are fucked up, and I heard someone say the other day, they were like, well, the reason why women are fucked up is because they never had the chance not to be fucked up before. Or they never had the chance to be fucked up before because they were worried about survival, right? So they just had to get a guy and make it happen, but now they have the option. They have the option to fuck around. They have the option to, taste all the forbidden fruits. They have the option to be hypergamous. They have the option to choose, and their options are through the roof. So what we're seeing today in our generation is we're seeing women who really have true freedom and what they're doing with their true freedom, which in a way is an exposure. It's an exposure of their nature. It's an exposure of their choices. It's an exposure of, what they really are. And what we see is not good. So I've exhausted that topic, I feel, particularly on the female nature and has, how it relates to society, how it relates to interpersonal relationships between men and women. I've exhausted that, at least as much as I can. Like I said, I'll probably come up with a topic every once in a while, make a video, but I kind of want to back off and really experience other things. So with that said, what I really want to talk about in this video is where the world's going. And like I just said a second ago, we see real female nature because they've been given their freedom. They fought for it, right? Now again, this isn't to say that women should be controlled. It's just an interesting concept that when given their freedom, this is what they do. All the things. And what I see is I see a blind generation. I see a generation that was a lot more blind than our generation before it. Now, people have always been struggling. People have always been, behind the 8 ball, so to speak, as far as survival, and people always will be like that. But in a way, I think that our society is getting easier in a way, I guess, if that makes sense. But with that ease and with this new technology, which makes everything smoother and quicker, and it's a weird time to be living in, because with that comes, a lot of temptation, a lot of, scenarios where very easy to do, do dirt, do messed up things, and it's just it's a wonder to me that anyone really stays in a relationship. It's a wonder to me that anyone can really run a family. And honestly, what I see a lot is a lot of single moms, a lot of people who, I don't know, man. It's generation, like, I have in a way, being older, my mid 30s, I still saw a remnant of what it was like, in the mid 1950s. Like, my mom was born in 46. My dad was kind of a rambling man, right? So I've seen what it was like in that generation. I didn't grow up in that generation, but I witnessed people, and I saw their character. I saw what motivated them, and how they took to life, and how they would maneuver in life, and what they would do, and how they would act, and things like that. This new generation that's coming up, nothing like that. Nothing at all like that. It's a scary generation that's coming up. And it's interesting to look, I like history because it tells us, who we are, and it tells us where we come from, and to some extent it can tell us where we're going. One of the biggest things that happened was the Industrial Revolution. That made life, life expectancy was a lot longer, or, a lot shorter back then, but now, because of the Industrial Revolution, it's a lot longer. I mean, all kinds of things changed since then, man. I think the greatest generation is true. The greatest generation really was, that 1950s generation. It's the greatest generation we've ever seen. Excuse me. Pardon me. I don't know that we're going to see a generation that great ever again. And I sound like a boomer right now, right? I sound like, my generation was like, but it's kind of true, because when we're talking about character, and when we're talking about, life, when we're talking about, I just look at this generation and I don't see character. I look at this generation and I don't see life. All I see is anger. All I see is strife. All I see is competition, racism, hate. And I think what causes that is materialism. Greed. I think greed causes that. I think that people don't know how to be human anymore. I was watching this video of this black guy, and he was like a street performer, I think. He was in like LA or someplace like that, right? And he said, I've been performing in the streets for like 30 years. And this last decade, and I think I saw this video a couple of years ago, and I think it was a recent video at that time. So probably like 2018 was when this guy was recorded and interviewed. And he said, I've been a street performer for 30 years or something like that. And this last 10 years, I've seen people, really change. They used to be lively. They used to be, happy. Everybody used to be happy. Everybody used to be alive. And you know what I mean by alive? Like somebody, there's this person's present. This person's happy. This person's like, they got life in them, right? And he said all that changed in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, people, went from being happy and alive to sad and distracted and not present. And, I blame cell phones. I blame technology. It usurps us, man. you know, and I blame porn, you know, I blame porn, believe it or not, man. We're not supposed to be watching that shit, you know what I mean? Like, if you got nothing else and like you're lonely and you know what I mean, but like, I get it, you know what I mean? Like, I understand, but it's not how it's supposed to be. You know, we're supposed to love somebody. We're supposed to be intimate with somebody, but how can we, you know, from a red pill perspective, how can we? You know, how can we find a quality girl? It's like impossible in today's day and age. There's always exceptions, but the average Joe, it's just not happening for him anymore. And so how can we have a good community? How can we have a good city, a good society, you know, a good country when there's no families anymore? There's no family units. It's not even an attainable thing unless, you know, you're top 10% or else you're, you know, you make money and all these things. Everything that I talk about in my videos, man, it's like, how can that be realized for the average dude, the average Joe? And you know, the average woman is compromised, right? Because she's told by feminism to, you know, it's okay to be a slut, it's okay to go enjoy your sex. And who was it, Toni Braxton? I just saw a meme or a picture of Toni Braxton quoting, I think she just recently quoted this. She said, I wish I would have had a bunch of sex when I was younger. I was too religious when I was younger and I didn't have that much sex. And I wish I had more when I was younger, when I was better looking. And it's just like, God damn, man. You know, I don't know about millions, but thousands and thousands of girls, women look up to somebody like that. And they're like, oh yeah, it's true. I better go have sex, you know? And it's like, man, you're supposed to love someone, you know? You're supposed to fucking have a family. Like, that's fulfilling. Like, I'm not saying sex isn't great. It feels good, right? It's fucking awesome. Like, it's a great experience. I've had it, you know, a lot with a lot of girls, and it's like, it's great. But then on the other hand, like, it's fleeting. And I always say this when people ask me, like, or I don't know about people ask me, but like, I always say this when the topic comes up, when people are like, oh man, you know, I wonder what it's like to have a bunch of sex. And it's like, well, I've been there. And it's like, it feels good. It's cool. You know, it's fun, but it's fleeting. And when I say fleeting, it's like, it's not quite as good as you think, in the sense that it's over quickly, right? It's over quickly. And then it's like, you're never, you know, it's like Jesus said in the Bible, like he said, if you drink from this well, you will thirst again. But if you drink from the, you know, the water that I give you, you'll never thirst. Right? Meaning, it's fulfilling to pursue God, right? It's fulfilling to drink from Christ's spirit or his lifeblood or whatever, right? That's the metaphor there. But and I would say that's the difference between like having a bunch of loose sex and like loving somebody. It's fulfilling when you love somebody, right? But we got a whole generation of angry people. We got a whole generation of disconnected people. We got a whole generation of disjointed people who don't know what humanity is anymore. You know, they don't know how to treat anyone else. They're just walking around like zombies, walking around confused, walking around like, what do we do? And I'm just wondering, like, how did that happen? How do we lose a culture of kindness? How do we lose a culture of togetherness? A culture of, if it was ever there, that, I mean, that's a question, but it depends on your community, I believe. You know, I was talking with this girl and she was living in Tennessee for a while. I think she said Tennessee. Yeah. No, she might have said Louisiana. It might have been Louisiana. It was either Tennessee or Louisiana, I forget. But I was talking to this girl. It's basically the South, right? And she was telling me how people are nice in the South, how it's so different, and like how people are real cordial and people are like, and I've always believed that because I've seen videos, I've seen movies, I've read books and things like that about the South. And it always strikes me as like people are kind, man. It's like a community. It's like we just don't have that here in the North. You know, I live in Seattle.
we just don't have that, man. Like, and I feel like that's something that is being lost. You know, no, I'm not saying America is this great place that like it's always been great. I mean, obviously it's built on racism, it's built on slavery, built on horrible foundation, unfortunately. Right? Well, that's just what it was. It's just how the country was founded. It got founded though, and it got built. So, oh well. But I mean, the thing is, you know, we're just losing that. We're just losing that, and I feel like it's getting darker. And I know why, man. I know it's because of these things, like these, you know, porn, iPhones. You know, parents not raising their kids right, not having quality character. Then, of course, people leaving God, right? People, I mean, why is leaving God bad? Well, at least God, you know, at least there's a moral foundation being laid in the Bible, right? Now, there's all kinds of crazy shit in the Bible. There's all kinds of, you know, stuff that's hardcore and impossible to follow, right? But at least there's a moral foundation. You know, at least there's something that is saying, hey, you know, like, there's a reason why you don't do certain things. There's a reason why you don't go sleep around. There's a reason why you don't. There's a reason, because there's consequences, you know? And when you remove that, I don't know, man. It's just, it's hard to say that we're going anywhere positive. It really is. I think that taken as a whole, people aren't happy anymore, man. People aren't happy anymore, taken as a whole. We got a whole world of, you know, conflict and pain and anger and all these things, you know, and I don't know, man. You know, I live in one city in one state, in one corner of America. You know, I've never been to India, I've never been to China, never been around the world. I don't know what it's like. You know, people everywhere are just trying to survive, you know. And maybe I'm just an idealist, you know. Maybe I'm just an idealist and I've always wanted something great. But it's weird. I mean, it's just weird to come to this realization that, yeah, the world's always been fucked up. Maybe it was just my personal subjective idealism. You know, the world's always been fucked up. People have always been fucked up. Maybe, you know, I don't know. But it seems like it's getting worse. It seems like good people are fewer and far between. You know, there just used to be something, man. There used to be something when I was younger. You know, in the 90s and the 2000s, you know, the world changed in 2000, right? Everything changed. Everything became techie and everything changed. But, yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just living in the wrong city, or maybe, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like we're going anyplace great, you know? And it's particularly, you know, from a red pill perspective, because we have these red pill truths, you know, these red pill experiences that we're all experiencing. And it's, if tens and hundreds of thousands of guys aren't experiencing them, then why are these red pill videos so popular, right? Why is these YouTube channels always popping off with hundreds of thousands of millions of views? Like, why? Because this is female nature, you know. And from a red pill perspective, you know, from society, you know, from a societal standpoint, we're speaking the inconvenient truths that people don't want to talk about, you know. I want to say that, you know, I want to say that there's hope. I want to say that we could change something, the next generation can change. You know, I want to say that maybe, you know, if we spread these truths, maybe something could change. I don't see it getting any better, though. I don't know. particularly when, the more we stray away from God, the more we stray away from values, moral values. People just aren't teaching that anymore. That's just not popular anymore. So I don't see us going anywhere good. And I hate to be negative. I'd like to be positive, but I don't see it. There's so much wrong. The very foundation of our humanity has been shaken. The very foundation of our family life. I mean, what is the foundation of humanity? It's family. It's family life. And if you don't have the good family, if you don't have the strong foundation of a family, then how can we survive as a species? I mean, we're definitely gonna replicate, I'll say that, but how are we gonna survive morally in any way? How are we gonna survive in any kind of quality way? I don't know, man. So it's a lot to unpack, and I think other people are feeling it too. I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way. But anyway, I don't want to. I don't have a whole lot to talk about on this, and I don't want to continue to bore you guys. But I'm probably going to be wrapping it up soon. You can check out my other channel, Jay Lee. Excuse me. Pardon me. Yeah, you can check out my other channel. I've done probably a few hundred videos at this point. Seems like probably not a few hundred, maybe 100 or so. But it's all red pill content, and it's all out there. I feel like I've exhausted everything that I would talk about. And, the red pill guys have really done great. A lot of the stuff that I talk about, they've mirrored, and they've talked about as well. So I think that it's all pretty conclusive at this point. I don't see anything being talked about that has not already been taught, or I just don't see anything new really coming about, which means that it's pretty exhaustive. It's pretty much an exhaustive study of everything that we've, been experiencing and been knowing in the red pill community. It's out there. So if people want to pick up on it, I think that one of the catch-22s of being red pilled is that we probably won't get married and have families in order to pass on these, quality truths. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, I'm signing out. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you guys supporting me. Haven't had a lot of views over the years, but I felt some love from you guys. I felt that you guys, cared enough to listen to my stuff and appreciate my work, appreciate my talks. And a lot of it has just been, like therapy for me. A lot of it has been a way for me to sort of vent, but also in a constructive way, where I can share my truths and potentially help some guys going through similar things, and guys who can relate and learn and grow as well. To some extent, I know I have a lot. I've learned and grown a lot from all the content that red pill men have put out. I appreciate it. But anyway, it's been Jay Lee. Thanks for listening. Peace.